these guys, this is their job. At the end of the day, they really got to do it. How do you A, manage that, and B, what are you doing to kind of make sure that they, I guess it kind of gives you some insight on each player when they're doing it or not doing it, right?
It does for sure, but I think they challenge each other a lot of times. So if they're choosing not to try and get out there and do the things that they need to probably do, the other guys that are there are, and they don't want to be, amongst their teammates, they don't want to be the guy that's not out there doing the work. So I think as far as that part goes, they challenge each other on a daily basis to get out there, and they hold each other accountable for being out there. I mean, our catchers are a really tight knit group. I think obviously they are competing with each other at each level, but at the same time, they're really working together, and they do have strong bonds with each other and things like that. So they help each other out, and they coach each other when they see things, and they're in the fight. So that's easy for them to talk about the things that are going on every day and get themselves in there to do it. And then, we're very fortunate as an organization. We have coaches at each level that help with the catching or have a catching experience that can kind of guide them into doing what they need to do and when they need to do it.
For sure. And are you coordinating a plan with each of those catching coaches, or are they specifically working individually with those guys?
We talk a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and we discuss kind of where each guy is when we come into spring training, when we leave spring training at different various points throughout the season. And we communicate, and we have an idea of where we want to get these guys. The path and the process that it takes to get there is kind of left up to the coach at that affiliate because they're with them every day. But the coaches and I communicate a lot about where our players are and what we need, what we feel like we need to do to get to where we need to go. So they're kind of more in the trenches doing a lot of the work, and I'm kind of on the backside, especially during the season, assisting in any way possible. Sometimes if something comes up, maybe giving them a phone call and say, "Hey, I saw this. What's, where are we at?" Things like that. But our coaches do a fantastic job of being able to assess and see where we're at and keeping everybody on the same page.
It's interesting now, like looking at my career and what I had, the advantages I had. It's like being on a team uh, is so valuable in terms of that, like pushing each other in a training environment. Where like now I'm older and I like to play golf, and I'm like, dude, I hate just like sitting by myself on the driving range hitting a bunch of balls. And it's like it kind of gets me a point where like when I start to think about all the players that I knew that like made it really far, like they were kind of cool with that. Like they were cool, like just going down to the cage by themselves. Like they were cool doing their own work by themselves. They could go to the gym by themselves. I was more of a social person that I would try to, piece it together. But it's interesting. Do you notice that a lot of the better players are just very comfortable, like almost like being loners in that sense?
Um, I think yes, but I think in our area of defense, it's kind of hard to do it on your own because you don't. I mean, you definitely like you can't just as a hitter, you can go out and grab a tee and take 7,000 swings if you want to. I guess you can. You can throw the ball off the wall and do some different things, and I guess you do see guys that are doing some of those things. But I think defensively for us, it's the group environment that helps each other. But yeah, I mean, guys definitely get out there, especially offensively, get out there in the cage and just whack away for hours and hours and hours and try to figure it out on their own sometimes. But I'm with you. I like to be with people and challenge myself and do that. So, but it is tough. I mean, but I think there are some of our guys who would probably do that if they were able to.